I pulled the trigger on my husband's knee with his own service pistol. The one he kept hidden in our Upper East Side brownstone like a dirty secret, and watched the man who'd sworn to love me crumple like a bad stock tip. It was a murder, God.
No.
I aimed low on purpose, but the crack of the shot echoing off our marble floors felt like the starting gun for every vengeful impulse I'd buried under years of boardroom smiles and bedroom lies.
He howled,
Clutching his leg, blood seeping into the Persian rug his mistress picked out. And in that moment, I realized the real crime wasn't the bullet. It was letting him think he could bury our daughter's death and climb the corporate ladder on my silence. That was 6 months ago. And now here I am, Penelope Hargrove, 42 and freshly divorced, staring at the subpoena that's supposed to drag me back into the viper pit of Sterling and Voss. They want me to testify about the irregularities in the merger that made my ex a senior VP and me a scapegoat. Irregularities. That's corporate speak for the felony I covered up, the one where I signed off on falsified audits to protect him. All while he whispered in my ear that our little girl, Lily, died because I was too emotional to handle the stress. Too emotional. Like grief is a weakness in the land of the free and the home of the cutthroat. New York in late fall is a bitch of a city, all crisp air masking the rot underneath. And as I sip my black coffee in this overpriced cafe on Madison Avenue, I can still taste the bile from that night. The ambulance sirens wailed like banshees, and the cops hauled me away in cuffs that bit into my wrists harder than his excuses ever did. But money talks, especially when it's old Wall Street money. And by morning, his lawyers had spun it as a domestic altercation gone wrong. He got a cast and a pity party. I got a restraining order and a one-way ticket to therapy sessions that felt like depositions. Lily was 6 when it happened, 3 years back. During one of those endless working weekends at the Hamptons house we could barely afford on my junior analyst salary. He was gunning for partner at Sterling and Voss, the kind of firm that eats souls and spits out bonuses. I'd been pulling all-nighters reconciling books that didn't add up, fudging numbers on offshore accounts to make the quarterly report shine. It was small stuff at first, reclassifying a few million in consulting fees as legit revenue. Harmless, he said. Just the way the game is played in this town. Everyone does it. Pen. It's not stealing, it's strategy. But Lily. She was my anchor. This tiny firecracker with my curls and his blue eyes. Always begging for one more story before bed. That weekend, the nanny called in sick, flu season. Bad luck, and I was elbow-deep in spreadsheets while he schmoozed clients on the deck with bottles of 82 Cabernet. She wandered off toward the pool, the one with the fancy infinity edge that made the ocean look like an extension of our debt. I heard the splash too late, turned just in time to see her little body floating face down, arms splayed like she was reaching for a hug.
Drowned. Just like that.
No warning. No second chance. The paramedics said it was quick, but nothing about losing your only child feels quick. He held me that night as I screamed into the void, promising we'd get through it, that I'd take time off, focus on us. But by the funeral, Episcopalian service in Greenwich, all white lilies and whispered condolences from his golf buddies, he was already back at the office, closing the deal that would seal his promotion. And me? I was the one who went back to those audits the next week, signing off on the big one, a $200 million phantom investment in a Cayman shell company that masked the firm's laundering for some Russian oligarch pals.
Why?
Because he convinced me it was for Lily's future, the trust fund we'd never fund. The Ivy League dreams now ashes. Do this for her.
Pen.
Make her death mean something. Bullshit. Of course. It was for him. Always for him. I was the invisible hand, the loyal wife who kept the books balanced while he posed for Forbes photo shoots. And when the SEC started sniffing around last year, who did he throw under the bus? Not himself. Oh no. In a sworn affidavit, filed quietly in family court during our amicable separation, he claimed I acted alone, that I'd gone unhinged after Lily, fabricating the whole scheme out of grief-fueled delusion. Unhinged. That's what they called it when I confronted him at the Christmas party, glass of eggnog in hand, whispering through gritted teeth that I'd go public, blow the lid off everything. He laughed it off, of course, charmed the room with that all-American grin, the one that hid the shark underneath. But I saw the flicker in his eyes, the calculation. By New Year's, the divorce papers hit, and suddenly I was out on my ass, blackballed from every firm in the tri-state area. Not executive material, his HR lackey emailed, attaching my termination letter like it was a thank you note. That's when the revenge started simmering, slow like a pot of gumbo on a Louisiana stove, but with New York's edge sharp, unrelenting. I didn't plan the shooting. Not really. It was impulse, born from finding that velvet box in his briefcase, the one with the diamond necklace meant for her, then turn half my age with Daddy's connections at Goldman. But as I sat in that jail cell overnight, the cold metal bench pressing into my spine, I started plotting. Not wild, gunslinging revenge like in those Tarantino flicks. I'm no Uma Thurman.
No.
Mine would be surgical, the kind that leaves scars you can't see, but feel in every board meeting. First, I lawyered up. Not some ambulance chaser, but Elena Vasquez, the bulldog who'd shredded Enron execs back in '02. She got the charges dropped to misdemeanor assault, self-defense angle. Him provoking me with years of emotional abuse. Gaslighting, she called it, and damn if it didn't fit. While he hobbled around with his cane, playing the victim to the tabloids, New York Post ran, Wall Street wife's shotgun wedding nightmare. I was digging. FOIA requests for SEC filings, anonymous tips to investigative reporters, even a shady PI who tailed his golf trips to Pebble Beach. The secret I'd buried deepest? It wasn't just the audits. Lily's drowning. It wasn't an accident. Not entirely. He'd been on the phone that afternoon, yelling at a junior trader about some margin call, distracted as hell. The gate to the pool was unlatched, his job to check it. Always his. But when the cops came, he spun it. Pen was exhausted, working too hard. She forgot. And I let him. Because in the haze of loss, I believed my guilt was bigger than his negligence. I signed the coroner's report without questioning, told the therapist it was my fault for not watching her every second. He got sympathy, I got pills and pity.
Now,
with the subpoena in hand, it's all unraveling. Sterling and Voss is panicking, the merger's under audit, and my name's on every falsified page. He needs a lawyer to fix the mess I created? Honey, I'm just getting started. I forwarded Elena those emails last night, the ones where he begs me to handle it like I'm his goddamn secretary from hell. And the best part? I didn't forge a thing. It's all there, in black and white, his fingerprints smudged across the betrayal. As I crumple the subpoena and toss it in the East River on my walk home, subway rats scattering like guilty secrets, I feel the tension coiling tighter. He's flipping the script again, calling reporters to paint me as the bitter ex, the grieving widow turned gold digger. But tomorrow, I meet with the DA. Not to confess. Oh no.
to trade.
Immunity for the firm. in exchange for his head on a platter. Controversial? Sure. Is it justice or just another layer of the con? That's the American dream for you, win or lose. Everyone's playing dirty. The rain picks up as I hit the bridge, mirroring the storm inside. Lily's face flashes in my mind, innocent and gone. And I wonder if this path leads to peace or just more graves. But turning back? Not an option. Not after what he took. The DA's office smells like stale coffee and desperation. The kind that clings to the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead like judgmental hornets. Assistant District Attorney Marcus Hale, mid-40s. Salt and pepper hair slicked back like he's auditioning for a Scorsese flick, leans across his desk. Files splayed out like a poker hand, he's not sure he can bluff. Mrs. Hargrove, he says, voice low and gravelly. The Brooklyn in it softened by law school polish. You understand this is perjury if you're holding back. I meet his gaze. Legs crossed in my thrift store pencil skirt, Armani knockoff. But it hugs like the real deal, and nods slowly. Call me Penelope. And yeah, I get it. But let's cut the theater. You want the smoking gun on Sterling and Voss. I want my ex-husband's balls on a silver platter. His eyebrows shoot up, but there's a twitch at the corner of his mouth. Respect.
Maybe.
Or just the thrill of a case that could make his career. In this city, where justice is just another commodity, we're both hustling. I lay it out for him, piece by damning piece, starting with the merger docs. The $200 mill phantom fund? Not my baby, it was his brainchild. Cooked up over steak frites at Peter Luger with the firm's managing partner. A fossil named Harlan Voss who looks like he peaked in the 80s Coke era. Harlan's the real puppet master. The one who flips alliances like pancakes at IHOP. Back when we were green, he mentored my husband, Jack, taught him the ropes of creative accounting while golfing at Winged Foot. Jack brought me in as the detail-oriented wife, the one who could the eyes on the lies without blinking. But the buried secret? That's where it gets you, the dark underbelly that keeps me up nights, staring at the ceiling fan whirring like accusations. Lily's trust fund, the one we never set up, was supposed to be seed money from a legit insider tip Jack got from Harlan. Except it wasn't legit. It was a pump-and-dump scheme on biotech stocks, the kind that ruined retirees in Florida while Wall Streeters cashed out. I found the wire transfers buried in our joint account 6 months before the drowning. Confronted him in our kitchen over takeout pad thai. It's for us.
Pen.
For Lily's college. Her wedding. Trust me. Trust him. The words taste like ash now. I covered it. Rerouted the funds through my name to shield him when the SEC subpoenaed our records. Signed the affidavits. Lied to the investigators with a straight face honed from years of client dinners. And when Lily slipped under that water, he used it, my instability, to discredit me if it ever came out. Poor Penelope. Cracking under pressure, he'd say to his cronies, nursing scotch at the 21 Club. They nodded, clinking glasses, because in this world, women grieve, men strategize. Marcus flips through the printouts I slid across, emails time-stamped from that weekend, Jack barking orders while I wailed on the deck. This negligence angle. It's thin for manslaughter, he mutters, tapping a pen against his yellow legal pad. But tie it to the fraud, obstruction of justice, maybe endangerment. And if Voss is involved. He trails off, eyes lighting up like he's hit the Powerball. I lean in, voice dropping to that conspiratorial whisper New Yorkers use in cabs. Harlan's the flipper. Last year, when the merger hit turbulence, He threw Jack under first, leaked memos painting him as the loose cannon.
Then,
When Jack fought back with counterdirt, Harlan played savior, promoting him to VP to shut him up. Now, with the subpoena, Jack's pointing at me to save his skin. It's a circle jerk of betrayal. Marcus. You break it open. You take down the whole firm. He chuckles, dark and dry, like he's heard this script before, but never with such fire. And what's your play? You walk free. Or I burn it all down myself. It's half true. The revenge isn't just for Lily, it's for every sidelined wife. Every overlooked exec like me who gets told she's not material because she dares to have a pulse outside the profit margin. Jack's decision to pin Lily's death on my distraction? Controversial as hell. Feminist blogs would riot. Calling it patriarchal gaslighting, his bros would shrug. Shit happens in high-stakes jobs.
me?
I see it for what it is. Cowardice wrapped in capitalism. We shake on it informal. Off books for now, and as I step into the elevator, the doors whooshing shut like a guillotine, my phone buzzes. Unknown number. But I know that 212 area code. Penelope. We need to talk. Jack's voice. Smoother than butter, but edged with panic. This has gone far enough. Meet me at the Carlisle. For old times' sake. Old times. The bar there, with its jazz trio and overpriced Manhattans, where he proposed under the Bemelmans' murals. Lily, not even a gleam in our eyes yet. I text back, 7 p.m.
Come alone.
It's a risk, violating the order. But Elena greenlit it. Bait the hook, reel him in. As the subway rattles me uptown, I rehearse the lines, the accusations that'll make him squirm. But deep down, the tension gnaws. What if he flips again? Offers me a cut? A quiet settlement? Do I take it? Or pull the pin on the grenade? The Carlisle lobby drips old money, plush carpets muffling the ghosts of Sinatra and scandal. He's at a corner table, cane propped like a scepter, looking every bit the wounded king in his Brooks Brothers blazer. You look good. Pen, he starts, that salesman's smile flickering. Therapy agreeing with you? Fuck you. Jack. I slide into the seat, ordering a neat rye, straight up, no chaser. Subpoena came today. You're doing? He winces, sips his club soda. Harlan's. He's spooked, tying up loose ends. But listen, we can fix this. Together. Like always. Always. The word hangs, heavy as the fog rolling off the reservoir outside. I lean forward, voice ablade. Like when you let our daughter drown because you couldn't latch a gate. Or when you filed papers calling me delusional to cover your ass. His face crumples, not the fake boardroom kind, but real. Cracked like fine china. I didn't. Pen. It was an accident. I loved her. I love you. Lies. But the kind that sting, because part of me wants to believe them. The waitress interrupts. All perky efficiency. And for a beat. We're just a couple nursing drinks. Not a powder keg. Then he drops the bomb. Harlan knows about the shooting. He's got tapes from the nanny cam in the foyer. If you push this, he leaks it. Full charges. Prison.
Pen.
For real. My heart stutters. The room tilting.
Tapes.
Of course, the security he installed after a string of Park Avenue break-ins. But really to watch me unravel. A controversial twist. Was I the aggressor? Or was it righteous fury? The jazz sax wails a mournful note, underscoring the gray. I stand, tossing cash on the table. Then leak it. But tomorrow, Marcus gets the files. All of them. As I storm out into the drizzle. His plea echoes. Penelope. Wait. But I don't. The city's pulse matches mine. Frantic and unforgiving. Back in my walk-up in Hell's Kitchen, downgraded from brownstone to brownstone dreams, I pace the linoleum. Phone in hand. Call Elena? Or hit send on the anonymous drop to the journal. The decision hangs. Tense as a tightrope over the Hudson. Lily's photo watches from the mantel, smiling that gap-toothed grin. For her, I think. But whose side am I really on? Dawn breaks over the skyline like a hangover. Gray and unrelenting. And I'm already at my laptop in the dim glow of my single-bulb kitchen, fingers flying across keys worn from freelance gigs that pay in peanuts. The anonymous email to the Wall Street Journal is drafted. Subject: Sterling and Voss, the drowning merger, with attachments that could sink the Titanic. Screenshots of the falsified ledgers. Jack's emails initialed JH on every shady line, even a redacted coroner's addendum hinting at the unlatched gate. One click, and it's Armageddon for them. But my cursor hovers, mocking me. Pull the trigger, or play the long game. Elena's text pings at 6:47 a.m. Hails on board. Meet at Federal Plaza.
9.
Bring coffee. I brew a pot, strong as regret, and suit up, power armor from the back of the closet, the Chanel I'd worn to Lily's baptism, now smelling faintly of mothballs and memory. The streets hum with early commuters, briefcases swinging like pendulums, everyone chasing that elusive corner office.
Me?
I'm chasing ghosts. Federal Plaza is a fortress of glass and bureaucracy. Security wands beeping like false alarms. Marcus waits in a conference room that screams taxpayer dollars, long oak table. Flags drooping in the AC. Elena's there too, sharp in her pinstripes, handing me a stack of NDAs thicker than a Bible. Sign here, she says. Pen poised. This gets you immunity on the audits. In exchange, full cooperation. No side deals. I sign, the ink bleeding like accusations. Then the floodgates open, I spill it all, from the Hamptons horror to the Carlisle confessional. Marcus records it on his phone, nodding like a priest at Vespers. This flips the script on Voss, he says, pacing. He's the schemer, lured your husband in with the scheme, then dangled the promotion like bait. Jack's testimony could bury him.
Jack.
The name twists in my gut. Testify against Harlan. Or take the fall. It's his choice now. The one controversial decision that'll split the waters. I picture him in his Tribeca loft, pacing with that cane, weighing loyalty against liberty. Part of me hopes he grows a spine. The bigger part wants him broken. By noon, the deal's sealed, and I'm cut loose into the lunch hour crush. My phone explodes, Jack. 10 missed calls. Voicemails stacking like indictments. Pen. What the hell? Voss is raging. Says you're poisoning the well.
Poison. Pot. Kettle.
You bastard. I ignore it, ducking into a deli for a hero sandwich, salami and provolone. Extra spicy. Because why not burn going down? The afternoon drags in shadows. I hit the library on 42nd, poring over back issues of the Post, tracing Harlan's empire. The man's a chameleon, sued for insider trading in '09, walked with a slap on the wrist and a donation to the mayor's PAC. Flipped on partners twice, once in a hostile takeover. leaking nudes of a rival's affair to the tabloids. Dark, tense stuff. The kind that makes you question if anyone's clean in this game. And me? I enabled it. Bore the mistake of those signatures like original sin. Evening finds me at Riverside Park. Bench overlooking the Hudson. Wind whipping my coat like judgment. Lily loved this spot, chasing pigeons, her laughter cutting the traffic drone. I pull out her locket, the one with our initials tangled inside, and let the tears come, hot and unbidden. Was covering for Jack a crime against her memory? Or just survival in a city that chews up the soft-hearted? The sun dips, painting the water bloody, and my resolve hardens. No more gray. Time to push. Back home. The email's still unsent, but I tweak it, add the nanny cam stills Elena pulled. Frames of Jack admitting the gate lapse over whiskey.
Click.
Sent. The journal's tip line swallows it whole. And for the first time in months, I sleep, dreamless and deep. Morning erupts like Vesuvius. My inbox is a war zone, reporters sniffing for quotes. Jack's number blocked but burning through burners. The post hits digital stands. Wall St. Scandal. Ex-wife drowns secrets in bid for revenge. They got the shooting angle wrong, self-defense. My ass, but the fraud leaks. Voss's name in screaming caps. By 10 a.m., CNBC's looping it. Pundits debating if I'm whistleblower or witch hunt. Jack corners me outside my building. How he found the address, God knows, face ashen under the awning. You crazy bitch, he hisses. Cane trembling. Harlan's calling in markers. Feds at the door. Good, I snap. Keying the buzzer. Testify.
Jack.
Save yourself. Or don't, I don't care anymore. He grabs my arm. Grip, vice tight. You think this makes you a hero? Lily's gone because of you. Your obsession with the books. Not watching her. The words land like shrapnel. Reopening the wound. I wrench free. Voice steel. Liar. The gate. Say it. He deflates. Eyes darting like a cornered rat.
Fine.
The gate. But we both signed off on everything. You're as guilty as me.
Guilty.
The word echoes as I slam the door. Heart pounding. Upstairs. Elena calls. Feds raided Voss. Jack's lawyering up. Against Harlan. Not you. Victory. Bitter as quinine. But the tension coils tighter. His flip means war. And in the crossfire, truths shatter. Night falls heavy. City lights mocking my vigil. I pour a glass of cheap Merlot. Toast to Lily. Tomorrow. The climax. My deposition. No one's clean. But someone's paying. The deposition room at Foley Square is a crypt, stark white walls closing in like a coffin. Air thick with the hum of the court reporter's stenograph. I'm sworn in. Right hand on a Bible that feels heavier than my conscience. And there they sit. Harlan Voss across the table. Jowls quivering under his Hermes tie. Flanked by a phalanx of suits that cost more than my rent. Jack's absent, his own depot scheduled for after mine. The better to coordinate lies. I suppose. Marcus observes from the corner. Arms crossed. A silent sentinel. MS. Hargrove, Harlan's lead counsel begins. A weasel named Pritchard with a Yale drawl. You allege, Mr. Voss coerced you into falsifying documents. Isn't it true you initiated the audit adjustments? Post your daughters. Unfortunate passing. Unfortunate. The euphemism slithers. And I grip the table's edge. nails digging wood.
No. Jack brought me in.
For the merger. Pritchard slides over exhibits my signatures. Bold loops on digital pads. Your hand. Your fraud. And the shooting? An attempt to silence your husband. The room spins. Tension ratcheting to snap. I glance at Marcus. He nods. Stick to the script. Self-defense. Emotional abuse.
Check the tapes.
They have them. Of course, grainy footage of me firing. Jack crumpling. But Elena's edit job highlights his taunts. The necklace box tumbling out like incriminating confetti. The counsel stammers. Flips pages. Harlan leans forward. Eyes serpentine. Penelope.
Dear.
This is beneath you. Drop it. And we settle millions. For Lily's foundation. The offer dangles. Controversial bait. Blood money for absolution. Part of me, the tired, grieving part, wavers. Imagine it. A charity in her name. Scholarships for drowning victims. Turning poison to purpose. But the schemer in him flips again. I see it in the smirk. The calculation. He'd renege.
Leak the rest to bury me.
No, I say. Voice steady as the Hudson at low tide. You buried her death to protect your scam. Jack's negligence. My silence. It's all connected. Testify.
Harlan.
Or rot. Chaos erupts, objections flying like confetti at a funeral. Marcus calls recess. Pulls me into the hall where fluorescents buzz like swarming doubts. Bold move. But if Jack flips on you, he won't.
Lie. Deep down.
I know he might. Decisions like his are chutes and ladders. Up one day, down the next. Back in. The depot drags. Hours of gotchas and denials. Until Pritchard drops the twist. Your husband claims you knew about the pump and dump pre-Lily. That you pushed him into it, for the thrill. Liar. Or is he? Memory fractures. Late nights. Me suggesting aggressive reallocations to outpace his rivals. Was it complicity? Or just ambition's fog? The room blurs, I taste bile. No one's right here, me. Enabling the beast, Jack. Wielding it, Harlan. Puppeteering. Readers would split. Am I avenger or accomplice? Heroine or harpy? Depot ends in mistrial threats.
But the seeds planted.
By evening, Jack's turn comes, and he flips spectacularly. Testifies against Harlan, spilling the oligarch ties, the Cayman webs, even admitting the gate lapse in a tearful aside that plays like Oscar bait. Penelope bore it all. He sobs to the camera outside. Reporters swarming. I failed her. Failed Lily. Redemption arc. Wall Street edition. Harlan's arrested that night, handcuffs clinking like champagne toasts gone sour. Sterling and Voss crumbles. Stocks tanking harder than '08.
Me?
Immunity holds, I walk. A ghost in the machine. But the twist hits weeks later. In a manila envelope slipped under my door. No return address. Postmarked Albany. Inside, a USB drive. Labeled Truth. I plug it in. Heart hammering. And there it is, Lily's last afternoon. From the deck cam Jack forgot to disclose. Him on the phone. Yelling, the gate swinging wide.
But then. Me?
Moments before. Distracted by a text from Harlan. Push the numbers. Penelope. Promotion's yours. I glance away. Just seconds. Enough for her to toddle out. My mistake. Not all his. The secret unburies itself. and I shatter. Sobs racking the empty apartment. Controversial end. Justice served. But at what cost? Jack sues for shared custody of the narrative, visitation rights to our shared sins, but I decline. Moving to a quiet suburb upstate, the kind with real lawns and no skyline lies. He gets probation, community service lecturing on ethics at Wharton. I start the foundation. Lily's legacy. Funding pool safety nets across the state. Happy? Tragic? You decide. In America, revenge is a mirror, reflects the monster you always suspected was staring back. As spring thaws the Hudson Valley, I sit on my porch, locket in hand, watching kids splash in a community wading pool. Gates latch tight. The tension eases, but the debate rages in my head. Was it worth it? The bullet, the betrayals, the buried truths? Lily's laugh echoes in the wind. Forgiving or accusing, I'll never know. But damn if it doesn't feel like breathing. Finally,